and welcome to Talking Business with Beverly. I am your host and business strategist, Beverly Walthour. And thank you so much for joining us as we support you, the entrepreneur, in creating time and financial freedom. And so we do this by not only addressing your business needs, but also your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial needs as well. And now join me in welcoming, we have some amazing ladies that are joining us. So we have Cara Sakina, and we also have Dr. Iris Perkins. And so Dr. Iris Perkins, she's a soul coach. Cara, she is a business consultant. She has a personal development side to her business as well. And so ladies, I want this conversation to be real about entrepreneurship. So this is all about just our journey into this entrepreneurial space. Because if people just check out on social media, then everyone has all this money. You know, we made $7 million in 6 weeks. You know, we're all yeah. And so I just want to have this conversation just so people can get the real skinny on what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. And so, Dr. Iris, tell us just a little bit more about what you do and how you serve your people.
Okay. I'm a soul coach, and I of course, help Christian women to eliminate emotional pain and to develop inner peace. And I enjoy every minute of it.
Ooh,
I really do.
We're going to see if she actually will watch this.
All right.
By the time we get done, she'll be crying over there. Cara, what about you?
No problem. So I'm Cara Sakina, and I actually help entrepreneurs gain business and live the life they love through automation systems and processes.
I love it. Okay, so Cara, tell us, how did you get started with this?
Well, the actual business that
Yes.
now, well, we started on the consulting end. So I've been in corporate consulting for about 20 years, Fortune 10 companies all over the world, building teams and doing things of that nature in the program management and technology space. And what I found was when I started getting into the small business space is that it was actually the mindset or the emotions of the business owner that had to be addressed before we could even talk about this is your strategy, this is your system, or this is what you need to do. So at that point, when we discussed previously about, I really didn't respect coaching because as a consultant, we know this is our expertise, this is what you need to do, here's your option, pick one. In coaching, I learned the methodology and got certified in it to realize you have to ask the questions and lead them to their own answers. And so that being said, that's how I got started by adding the personal development aspect to the business.
Awesome. And what about you, Dr. Iris? How did you end up doing this as a soul coach? How did you get into this space?
Well, a lot of times people were coming to me for advice. They were asking me, what's going on with this? How do you, I know what happened to you in certain instances. So how were you able to move forward with, what you have? And so I just shared with them some tidbits of things that I'd done. Some people wanted to try it. Some people said it was too much for them. They said they did just stay like they were. So I guess they were happy with what they had. So, but I noticed that, and so I started helping more people on a larger scale.
Love it. And so did either one of you guys, was it someone in your family that was an entrepreneur?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, I would say so. We did surprisingly some DNA stuff in history, and it was really interesting what we found out. Because bits and pieces of what you heard, and we was married to an Indian tribe. They come back, you ain't got a lick in here nowhere. You might have some Irish, but when we started digging into, my parents and the grandparents, we found out that they were the first in a lot of things.
Okay.
And we're like, wow, some of those things are eccentric into us as individuals. So yeah, I did find that we did kind of have that in our family space.
That's cool, yeah, because I always said, I don't know where this entrepreneurial bug came from.
Yeah.
And then had a conversation with my mom. She's like, your grandmother had a store.
Oh, right.
No, I don't know that. I was fine when she died. I know that. So it's stuff like that when you have those conversations. You're like, it's there. It's there.
Absolutely.
And so, are you full-time in your business?
I am. I contract myself to corporate individuals, and I also, so we do small scale, large scale, and we also sub to other companies we talked about before. We do a lot of JV work.
So were you always full-time in your business? Or
No. I started, I think that for a minute, because I do have a luxury in what I do. So I don't know if people are familiar with 1099. So I'm able to, at any given moment, take a contract or not. And so I'm an individual working for myself. That being said, what I find that there was a movement, I think it shifted about 3 years ago when I was really getting serious. Everybody was like, if you ain't, hustling, broke, thirsty, 24 hours, all this, you ain't doing nothing. And so I was feeling some kind of way, and I was like, well, I ain't getting like a corporate check this way, but maybe I'm not really, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm not. And then, but I had to check myself, and I said, that people sense that in you. So when you're that desperate, you're not thinking about what's best for them. You're desperate about your bills.
That's right.
And people can pick that up.
That's right.
And so that's what I would say about that. It doesn't matter what funds your dream. As long as you keep perspective and say, yeah, I might be driving an Uber at night and okay.
Thank you. But that's real, because a lot of times, once again, we
I'm
have
not
this
good.
misconception.
I mean, just be straight. I ain't nothing wrong with it.
Exactly. But hey,
Be straight. Be straight. You know, like, I'm trying to look at
But I think there's this whole, like a guilt type of thing. If I'm working full time and I'm doing it, you ain't working hard enough, you're not hustling hard enough, team, no sleeping. I'm like, look, I love my sleep. Look,
Right.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Right.
But I think that's huge that you kind of touched on that, to let people know, whatever you need to do
That's right.
to get it done, legally.
Right.
But as long as you're doing it that way, there is no guilt, no shame. Because my thing is, allow that other job to fund my dream.
Yeah.
Like I said, I tell people all the time, use that, get as much experience as you can, milk them as much because they're paying you anyway.
And you're getting connection.
Exactly. So yes.
That's right.
So thank you for saying that, because there are people out there where they have that whole thing of, oh my gosh, you're not whatever because you're not in it full time, or whatever it is. So thank you for that. And so ladies, we are certainly going to continue this lively conversation. I'm gonna calm down during the break. This conversation we're going to continue right after these. And welcome back to Talking Business with Beverly. And so we are having a very lively conversation with Kara Sakina and Dr. Iris Perkins. And so we are just being real about this entrepreneurial thing. And so Dr. Iris, tell us just a little bit about your experience. Like, were you always a full-time entrepreneur? Did you do both? I think they call it parallelpreneur or whatever. Like, did you do both, or were you always...
I have done both for so long. I can remember even being an entrepreneur at 5 years old selling lemonade.
Come on.
In the neighborhood, so I always had it.
I was getting her coins.
I was getting it, and then would go spend them at the corner store. But yes, as I grew older, I was doing both. I was working, full time, and then also working other jobs and have businesses and different things. And I mean, I've sold everything from diet products to what do you call these other food chips and stuff. I just did all kinds of things because I enjoy seeing the money coming in, and then it allowed a certain freedom that I wanted. So I was doing both, and I actually did government contracts in printing. We were doing a GPO work, and so it was a lot of stuff going back and forth. I was up all night doing that.
Right.
Went to work, putting on two different kind of shoes, because I was so drained from the night before. But whatever it took for me to make it work is what I did. And I could not compare myself to anybody else's life, because what works for them works for them, what works for me worked for me. And so when I did that, after I came out of 24 years of corporate America, then I dove into a fashion business. I opened up a store.
No one, I'm like,
that really wasn't me.
Right.
It really wasn't me. It was something that I knew I could make a quick buck with. You make money on people's vanity to a degree with that. And so I did that for a while, and then I moved into what it is that I really am called to do, even though I took so long to do it.
But hey, it was all part of the journey. But I love actually the story that you just told about your journey. First of all, it wasn't, it wasn't a straight line. You went, it had all these twists and turns because a lot of people feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I should go to school and then come out and know exactly what to do and then do it and then spend the next 40 years doing that thing and then. So I think that, that's amazing that people got to hear that it wasn't a straight path to get there. So now let's talk about, we operate in the online space. And so what were some of the misconceptions that you guys had before you came into this entrepreneurial thing? So, you were an employee, and then as you were shifting into the entrepreneurial world, what were some misconceptions you brought with you into this thing? So we'll start with you, Kiara.
I think because as she explained, in corporate America, there's a certain standard and culture of excellence. Yes, because they're getting paid, but yes, it's just who you are, right? There's regular people everywhere, but in general, there's a standard. And in hiring my own vendors and service providers, and in consulting in small businesses, getting in that space, I would go in treating it just like it was corporate. So that was my biggest shift I had to make, was that yes, I can leverage some of these principles, ideas, methodologies, but this environment, these people, these things, how they behave, interact, how they act, is different. It's a different mindset. That was my biggest challenge.
Gotcha. What about you, Dr. Iris?
Two major ones.
Okay.
The first one is, I wanted to be able to get up as late as I wanted to. I wanted to have the power to get up as late as I want to, but I realized that when you're in your own business, you are everything.
That's right.
You are the CEO, you are the janitor, you are the secretary, the receptionist, the gopher, you're everything. And so it does take a lot of time. The second thing is that I thought that my friends and my family would support me. Let me tell you, your friends are not your audience. When they see you pushing sometimes and then they see you doing well, a lot of times they'll say, I'm not going to give her my money. She's doing better than I am. And so that was a hard thing for me.
And I think that's key, and we hear that all the time. Oh my God, my family's not supporting. My friends didn't buy X. But when you just said that, a lot of they're not your ideal client. And the thing is, that business is our baby, and not everyone will have that same type of passion.
Right.
For the way the way that we do.
Yeah.
So, for some people, it's some hurt feelings out there. I'm like, look,
The pose be serious.
I'm about to go buy it for you, baby. I'm getting there for you. What you Yeah, but I just think it's huge that you said that, because and people, they do go into this thing thinking that everyone's gonna buy it and all, and it's not like that. So I just think it's huge, saying that. Those of you that were thinking it, let it go. Let it go. Because, and once again, it's just the nature of that thing, and just knowing that. So, I thank you for saying that, because when people hear it, they realize, okay, you might be onto something. So so ladies, so we're gonna continue this conversation, but I'm telling you, we have just a little bit more for you right after these messages. Welcome back to Talking Business with Beverly. And so we are having just a candid conversation, ladies, just as, being entrepreneurs. So tell us, we're going to put this in quotation marks. So Dr. Iris, what does a typical day look like for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I do the best I can to get up after 11.
Hashtag goal.
Hashtag. Because I'm usually at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So, people say, well, why are you up so late? I said, because you're up so early. And so I get my sleep on the front end. But getting up a little bit later, but I have a goal. I write down what I'm going to accomplish the night before, and I don't move onto the next thing until I've accomplished the first thing. That's the way that I can measure what it is that I'm getting done. And so I'm able to do that, and then I slide some things in there that my husband needs, you know, and the children may call for a text, or, you know, family members I try to slip something, and sometimes I just tell them no. Because I've gotten to the place that my name is Mrs. No.
And I think that's key though, because sometimes people feel, especially because we work from home, that we're just sitting here just chilling, eating bonbons. So that's cool to have those boundaries.
So it's okay to say no. You know, and especially if it's not, you know, progressing whatever you're working on, getting you a little further, or if it's putting you behind. It's okay to say no, or I get to it when I can.
There we go. I love it. I love it. And then Kara, what about you? What does a typical day look like?
I don't think I have one. I think, you know, I was sitting here thinking as I was listening to her. So where I'm at in this space right now, I make a joke always when it says the cobbler's children have no shoes, right? Because oftentimes what we do so great for others, we struggle with ourselves.
Absolutely.
So this season of my business, I am doing for myself what I go in and do for other people. So right now, I really had to get over myself being the bottle cook, the chief operator, the janitor, and all of these things. And so right now, primarily, I'm working with some large corporate organizations. I also have some JVs with training and development companies that we go out for, you know, things like this. So it just depends, but a lot of late nights after 9 to 5 hours where I get to actually focus on what I want to focus on regarding my business. It could be coaching calls, but right now I'm really focused on building the infrastructure and the systems so I can be anywhere in the world doing whatever I want to do, and my business doesn't need me. I'm trying to work myself out of my business.
And that's key. That is huge.
And everybody doesn't want that.
But that's huge. But it does, you know, allow for you not to be tied 24/7, you know, to that thing.
And that's scary.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
So, ladies, let's talk about this social media thing. You know, social media is huge, and so how do you leverage social media in your business? So, Kara, how do you leverage social media?
Okay, this is a two-edged sword, transparent question. So back to the cobbler's kids. I probably invested almost 6 figures into learning digital marketing strategy, my own money, not the company, but my money, over the last 6 years, because I knew where the industry was going to get in technology. I wanted to understand that. That being said, I do not leverage 90% of what I know how to do. And so that is why I hired someone that I trust and know to do that work that I use for other people, to do that for me. So right now, from a spiritual perspective, I do a podcast, Facebook Live, I've been doing it since 2016, we call it a Prayercast. But what we were saying about earlier is that I'm the secret sauce to a lot of success. People don't hardly know my name, but there's a lot of people who do, because I did JV with people. I'm like, if the paperwork is good, it can be your brand, I don't care. As long as we get paid, I'm good. So I'm shifting in that space, but yes, I think it's a very critical piece, especially if you need to get leads to be leveraged, but I'm doing better in 2020.
Okay, all right, you said, yeah, we have it on video.
Check with me.
Exactly. Okay, what about you, Dr.
I handle my fan page on Facebook. I do Facebook Lives also on Thursday evenings, and I have someone to do my Instagram, because it was kind of a little difficult for me to maintain all of those things. So I had someone to work on my Instagram, get pictures up and get posts in, you know, so I can be active. I'm still not quite as comfortable with LinkedIn. I'm still trying to feel, you know, my way there, because, you know, most of it is more business and education for what I see, you know, because I'm offering, you know, something spiritual. I don't get as much traction as I do on Facebook and on Instagram.
But one thing I've learned with LinkedIn, you know, the leverage piece is the speaking side, you know, leverage more opportunities, speaking and consulting as well. So just a little FYI for you.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, when you look at it like that, because I struggle with LinkedIn with my spiritual side of my business. Like, nobody on LinkedIn want to hear about God and Jesus.
Right.
They do. Yeah, I put it out there. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
just a little look. And I see people pay me thousands for that little tip.
Okay. Y'all got it.
Y'all got it for free.
So ladies, tell me, you know, what do you love the most about what you do, Dr. Iris?
My goodness. I love to see people smile.
Yes.
Well, I love your spirit.
Oh, wonderful. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
But when I get those results with people and they come and they smile like this, when they came to me crying,
Yes.
oh my God, I feel so accomplished in that. And doing that, and that makes me feel good, you know, and I just give God a high five and say, we did this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, ladies, believe it or not,
No.
yes, we are out of time.
She talked
So,
to us.
is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna do So I know they want to know more about you ladies. So Kara, let us know, let the viewers know, you know, how they can find out more information, so your email, your website, social media handles.
Sure. So my email address is live better, because that is our goal. We want you to live better professionally, personally, and have a life that you love, at karasakina.com. So that's KARASAKINA.com. You go on there, reach out to us, holler back, and love to talk with you. And all of my platforms are under the same name, Kara Sakina.
Awesome. And Dr. Iris.
And mine is, my email is coursesthattransform@gmail.com. Also, you can find me on Facebook under It's Me, Dr. IFP. And that is my handle for Instagram, also for, what's the other one? It's Facebook, Instagram, and what is the third one? Twitter. Trying to figure it out. And my website is coursesthattransform.online/courses/forgiveness. And also I have 5 books that you may be interested in. You can get them online. One is called The Fruit of the Spirit, Understanding the Fruit of the Spirit, Deliver Me From, Equipping Spirit-Led Leaders, Funeral Foolishness, and also 8 Steps to a Better You.
Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. And thank you as well for joining us. And remember, as entrepreneurs, you want to ensure that you're addressing your business, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial needs as well. Until next time, take care.